Alright, now don't get mad at me, but I never really cared for Shrek as a child. On my list of favorite swamp-dwelling green characters, Shrek ranks in third behind Yoda and Kermit. I didn't grow up with the Shrek movies, my parents didn't like them, so I never watched them until one day at the dentist office while high on nitrous oxide on a ceiling TV. Never had that happen before or since. All I remember about the first Shrek movie is Shrek farting bubbles into the mud and then me wondering if the effects of the nitrous oxide would be permanent. Not exactly the ideal viewing experience, but a few years ago I did get to take my little brother to see Shrek 2 for the first time in a movie theater, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed myself, and I started to understand why people were so nostalgic and fond of this franchise. But again, I didn't grow up with Shrek, so when Shrek 5 was announced and everyone got really fucking mad, I didn't really care all that much. It didn't affect me, and because of that, I never talked about it on the channel. But we are talking about it today. So what's changed here on Mr. Cow? What's changed me? Well, a few weeks ago, I was doing research on a completely different project for the video game Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. You see, the story for that game is not out yet, but it's been the topic of a lot of conversation because the last game from that studio, Naughty Dog, was The Last of Us Part 2, and people have very strong feelings about that video game's story. Now, shortly after the first trailer came out for Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, someone claiming to be a disgruntled Naughty Dog employee posted what they claimed was the entire story for the game, when in reality what it was a clever fanfiction passed off as a leaked story based on everything they knew about the game, from the Naughty Dog blog post to the trailer itself, which was only about 4 minutes and 30 seconds long. It was a genuinely impressive and captivating little thing that this person had written, but of course it was dismissed as fake and people widely moved on from it. But I was revisiting it and I realized something. People had done the exact same thing with Shrek 5, except they did it with just 27 seconds of footage and nothing else. Now, I absolutely love shit like this. This channel started off as a Five Nights at Freddy's theory channel back when I was in, like 8th grade or something. So I love speculating, trying to come up with a story with just a little bit of information. It's fun. It's a really fun thing to do. But in the case of Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet and Shrek 5, which yes, these two things have a lot in common, both storylines that were asserted were derived from a place of almost pure hatred. In case you missed it, people were not too stoked on the trailer for Shrek 5 that released. The characters were redesigned in a way that people were not happy with. The addition of Zendaya felt like they were shooing her into the main cast of characters that had all been together for the previous 4 films, and on top of that, it had meme and TikTok references. Hooray! The backlash to this trailer was enormous. Comments got turned off on the YouTube video. The dislike ratio with an extension was 666 the last time I looked at it, so even Satan fucking hated this thing. But some people took it even a step further when they began to theorize that the story for the film was going to center around Shrek being an overly protective father when his daughter, voiced by Zendaya, wants to leave the swamp. He's too hard on her or something, she winds up running away, gets tied up with the villain, and Shrek has to save her. Something like that. Variations of that popped up all over the internet. People were really angry, and then in August of 2025, Shrek 5 was delayed out of December 2026 to summer of 2027. No reason was given for the delay, but people immediately started trying to take credit for it. Some believed that the delay was made to change the character designs to make it closer to the original. Some believed it was delayed to retool the story because people had already guessed it. Some believed it was a combination of both things. But DreamWorks never gave a reason. So that begs the question, why was Shrek 5 really delayed? Was the backlash really that strong that they had to change the character designs? Were people really so clever that they could guess the story after just 27 seconds? Or was it something else? Well, while I don't have an official confirmation from DreamWorks on this, I can say with at least some degree of certainty that I think I know what happened here with Shrek 5, and it's a combination of a lot of different things. The first thing we have to look at is a logical reason for why a movie would be delayed without any backlash first, okay? Put the backlash aside. aside. Let's assume Shrek 5 got delayed before the trailer even came out. Oh, wait a second, that actually happened. Yeah, Shrek 5 was already delayed once out of summer of 2026 to December of 2026 before it got delayed a second time after all the backlash. So why was Shrek 5 delayed the first time? Well, I think the two most likely possibilities are either that it was releasing in too competitive of a window, or they wanted to give the movie more production time. It also could have been a combination of both of those things. Summer 2026 is a very competitive window right now with Supergirl, Spider-Man Brand New Day, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, Toy Story 5, and the live-action Moana remake. There are just a ton of huge movies releasing in summer of 2026. So moving to December, when at the time there was only Dune Messiah and Jumanji 3, seemed like it made the most sense. They'd get in on that Christmas box office money. It'd be perfect. As for giving the movie more production time, that's possible. It's an animated film. They might have needed more time to polish things up. I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but with the competitive window there too, it couldn't hurt to give the movie a little bit more time to polish things up and really not crunch the animators. It's also worth noting that Minions 3, or Super Minions, whatever the fuck it's called, I'm not gonna see it, that was moved into Shrek 5's original slot in the summer of 2026. So was summer of 2026 too competitive for Shrek 5 but not for something like Minions 3, or was Minions 3 further along and Shrek 5 needed more time? Well, I think it's a combination of both of those things. Shrek fans are older now. If a Shrek fan was 6 when they saw the 4th Shrek film, they'd be old enough to watch Shrek 5 with a beer in the United States if they went and saw it today. It's been that long. So I think something like Minions 3, which plays to a much younger audience most of the time, parents take their kids to see it, I think that fits better in that competitive time slot anyways, but also it backs up the theory that Shrek 5 just needed a little bit more time while Minions 3 either didn't, or they were more willing to push that one out there in the summer window for some reason, maybe believing it would perform better then than around Christmas time. Now, I think that those are both plausible and logical solutions for why Shrek 5 was delayed the first time. But when we get to the second delay, things get a lot more tricky. For this second delay, you cannot discount the backlash to the first trailer. It was the talk of the town for a long time on the internet. People were really worked up about these new designs and the possibility of the story being way too safe and predictable to the point where people could guess it based off just 27 seconds of footage. Shrek fans were angry, and I think that had to have played some role in this delay. But was it the main reason for Shrek 5's delay? Personally, I don't think so. We still have to take into account those other two likely possibilities, that the movie was delayed for more production time or because it was releasing in too competitive of a window. Production time plays into the backlash perfectly. Give the movie more production time, have them rework the character designs, maybe even the story if people allegedly guessed it. I don't really think they had the capability of doing that, but we'll get more into that later. But that seems to fit. However, with the competitive window, something changed after Shrek got delayed into December of 2026. Originally, they were just going up against Jumanji 3 and Dune Messiah. But then, another movie got delayed. Avengers fucking Doomsday. And when did it get delayed to? December 18th, 2026. 5 days before Shrek 5 was set to release. Now, I know Marvel's been on the downswing lately, but if you think Avengers Doomsday is gonna make anything less than $1 billion, you are out of your mind. The last mainline Avengers movie made $2.8 billion. If Avengers Doomsday made half of that, it would still be the 7th highest grossing movie of the 2020s. Now, maybe there could have been a Oppenheimer Barbie situation where people go see Shrek Avengers Doomsday and they do like a double feature thing, maybe, but it's just way too big of a risk to release alongside something like Avengers Doomsday, and they didn't know they were when they initially delayed the film. So we have to ask ourselves, if there was no backlash to Shrek 5, would it still have been delayed out of its December release slot to avoid Doomsday? And if you ask me, I think yes, absolutely. It does not make sense to go head to head with that movie. But that being said, just because Avengers Doomsday story might be the main reason Shrek 5 was delayed, doesn't mean there weren't other reasons. Like I said, the backlash was enormous. People did not like the character designs, and now that they have more production time, it would be easy for them to rework these designs. And I've seen a lot of people wonder if it's even possible with modern technology to get characters to look like how they did 15 years ago. And yes, it's perfectly possible. In Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, Pinocchio looked like Pinocchio in the older Shrek movies, but now he looks like this. This art style was a choice that probably came along with DreamWorks' choice to outsource animation after the Wild Robot release. They are no longer making everything in-house, so these new designs were chosen by the people at DreamWorks. They went with this as an idea and it backfired horribly, and if they have any sense, they would listen to the backlash and use this extra time to retool the character designs. And to further back up this idea that Shrek 5 was delayed to retool the character designs, we've literally been through this situation before with Ugly Sonic. Remember that? People hated that original design and they wound up changing it. Now there were some repercussions to that weren't so good, but Shrek 5 has a lot more development time now that it's releasing in summer of 2027. So I think it's very likely that these designs get retooled, and if they don't, that would be a really stupid move by DreamWorks after all the backlash. But what about the people who say they guessed the story based off just a 27-second long teaser trailer? Honestly, I think they are completely fucking wrong. Don't get me wrong, it would be hilarious if a bunch of people on the internet were able to guess the story for Shrek 5 just based off this teaser, and personally, I'm kind of rooting for that outcome. I would love to be wrong, and I would love to believe that a bunch of people could just see 27 seconds of footage and go, oh, this is what you're doing, and then they're right, because it's just such a funny idea to me. But the main problem is, people are asserting this really simplistic storyline, this really safe, predictable, trope and cliche-heavy mess that sounds like the safest bet possible. They're saying that's the direction they're going. We guessed it though, and that means they're using this delay to change it, and it's actually part of the reason for the delay. But I think the core problem with people who think that DreamWorks delayed Shrek 5 because a bunch of people guessed the story online is that they think DreamWorks cares that they guessed the story. If these people are correct that they guessed the story for Shrek 5 because it's the safest, most predictable thing ever, then why would DreamWorks change it? It's literally the safest story possible. They're going with something that doesn't rock the boat too much. Do you really think they're gonna be like, oh my god, they guessed the safe story, we better take a massive fucking risk? No, of course not, because it's Shrek fucking 5. It's $1 billion franchise. If they're going with the safe bet, they're gonna stick with the safe bet. I don't think they anticipated any of the backlash that was gonna come their way when this first trailer was revealed. And most of the backlash was focused on the character design, so that is most likely what they're going to focus on with this additional production time. But it's true that rewrites do happen, and with additional production time, they may still retool things within the story. But if their goal was to make a safe story for Shrek 5, then people guessing it isn't going to change that. And to top all of this off, there has been another story leak for Shrek 5, a story leak that involves Zendaya's character sending Donkey and Shrek to the human world. Now that is something that most definitely cannot be guessed from that 27-second long teaser, and it sure as hell is not a safe sounding story. In fact, it sounds pretty fucking dumb. But that alleged leaked story is just as plausible as the one people have come up with based off of the 27-second trailer, because we don't know anything about the movie's story. The story could be literally anything. We have no idea. For all we know, the people working on Shrek 5 could have had that story where Shrek and Donkey go into the real world, and then they saw people online guessing the story about Shrek's daughter and said, that's not a bad idea, and they actually delayed the movie to change the story to that. I think it makes way more sense that they were afraid of Avengers Doomsday, and they were afraid at the amount of backlash the character designs got. I don't think the story guessing had anything to do with this delay, even though objectively it would be hilarious, and I cannot wait to see if these people are right or not. But again, to me, it's just not even a factor that contributes to this delay. I guess we'll wait and see, but I don't think it's plausible. But man, with all of this backlash, it would have been so much easier if DreamWorks had just made like a little teaser kind of video thing showing off the new character designs and introducing Zendaya to kind of get a vibe for it, you know, making like a short little 27-second long thing to be like, this is what the characters might look like, and then if they get horrible backlash, they can just delay the movie and retool it later. That would have been way smarter. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, that's right. There is another whole aspect to this Shrek 5 conspiracy theory. Some people believe that this teaser trailer was being used just to gauge how people felt about the new designs. I mean, you really don't want to mess up a billion-dollar franchise like Shrek 5. Why not do something like this? You already have Minions 3 waiting in the wings to take up that one spot. You know, if people really hate the designs, maybe we can delay it out of there, use Avengers Doomsday as an excuse, and then get them back to the original. Maybe they already had the original designs done and everyone's just chilling at the office. Who knows? It could have been a big brain crazy move by DreamWorks. But sadly, the odds of this being the case are almost zero. In fact, I think that this might be one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. Just to think critically for one moment, what is more likely? That DreamWorks redesigned the cast of Shrek and thought they looked good and then put them into a teaser for the movie, or that they designed the new characters for Shrek and thought they looked good but thought people might hate them. So just in case, they'd put up a little teaser and then have a huge scheme in place just in case, so they could then delay the film and change the character designs out, likely wasting a shit ton of money and time. So I'm sorry, my conspiracy theory fans, I don't think this is the case. I think DreamWorks genuinely thought they looked good and people would like them, and then people didn't like them, and now they're in panic mode. It's gonna be fascinating to see what happens when the next Shrek trailer releases. Are they gonna like address the new character designs but keep them the same? Are they gonna redesign them and then make Shrek make a joke about how ugly this other version of him looks or something like that? It's gonna be fascinating, and I'm genuinely excited to see how it plays out. I'm not super excited to see Shrek 5, but I'm fascinated by all of this weird discourse around it. So let me know what you think is gonna happen with Shrek 5 in the comment section below, because I am genuinely curious, and we can use this video as a kind of time capsule or a scoreboard, I guess, for everyone's predictions. If you think they're going to change the designs or not, if you think the story was actually guessed or not, what you think the story is going to be. I want to hear it. I want to check it out. I am genuinely fascinated by this. But with that being said, I am genuinely about to pee my fucking pants, so I am going to go to the bathroom because I've been recording this video for too long. Bye, everybody. Have a happy Shrek Day. Happy Shrek Day, everyone. Bye.